Fall meals to me are soups and stews, comforting foods. Can we have those kinds of things when we're trying to lose weight? Absolutely. I'm going to show you a minestrone soup today. Absolutely delicious. No, it does not have pasta in it, but we're going to sub the pasta in for some cauliflower rice instead. So let's look at a minestrone soup recipe. For this recipe, I need a pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I need 4 cups of low sodium chicken broth, and I know this is low sodium because I make it myself and I don't add any sodium to it. I need cherry tomatoes, celery, green cabbage, yellow squash, cauliflower rice, some pepper, some salt, some basil, and some Parmesan cheese. Let's start with the soup base. I'm going to use my Instant Pot because it's so much easier to do it this way. I have, first of all, 4 cups of low sodium chicken broth, and the great thing about an Instant Pot is if things are slightly frozen, that's okay, not a big deal. This one happens to be thawed out, the other one was not. So those are going to go in there. And then my chicken thighs are slightly frozen. I took them out last night, but they're slightly frozen, but that's okay. Again, these are going to cook up just fine. So I'm going to separate them just a little bit. This is 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, 4 cups of broth. I'm going to put the cover on this after I wash my hands, and I'm going to set the timer to pressure cook this for 12 minutes, and then I will be right back. While my chicken is going, and it's just getting going, hasn't even come to pressure yet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut up and weigh my vegetables. So the recipe calls for a cup of squash, a cup of celery, a cup of cauliflower rice, and a cup of cabbage, or actually 2 cups of cabbage. But that, as you know, you don't want to measure that way, you want to weigh. So I figured out the weights for all of them, and what I'm going to have, and this will be in the information box below, 2 cups of cabbage is going to be about 6 1/4 ounces. A cup of celery is going to be 3 1/2 ounces. A cup of yellow squash will be 4 1/2 ounces. And a cup of cauliflower rice will be 3 1/2 ounces. So I'm going to measure all of those into my bowl. That will be super easy to do. And then by the time this is ready, I just have to shred the chicken and dump that back in there and cook it a little bit longer. So let's start with, probably the cabbage is going to take up the most space here. I know I probably am going to need a little more than that, but I've already washed my vegetables, so what I'm going to do is just very thinly slice. I could get out my mandolin and do this, or I could do it in the food processor maybe, but I think this is just as easy to do this way. I love my Instant Pot in the fall, in the winter. I even use it in the summer because it doesn't heat up the kitchen like the oven would. And so cooking things that way is always really good. Let's see. Let's see how much I have here. I need 6 1/4 ounces, so zero out my scale. Oh my goodness, I had more than I needed. I didn't realize I was not going to need that much. So I'm actually going to be making another recipe in a little while. I'm recording a few videos today, and I'm going to be making a chicken sausage with cabbage recipe. So the fact that I've got a little extra cabbage cut up just gets me started on the next one. All right, the yellow squash diced up. And again, I need, for the yellow squash, I need to have 4.5 ounces. So I'm just gonna cube this up a little bit, cut it however you want. I think little cubes is probably better than just slices. Slices might not hold together as well. This is one of my favorite vegetables. I think I always requested summer squash for my birthday. All right, so I'm gonna zero this out. I know I want 4.5 ounces. That's 3.5. Let's see how much I get with. It's a little bit, it's 5 ounces, but a half an ounce isn't going to kill me. So I'm going to leave it like that, come up with something for that. The cauliflower rice, I need 3.5 ounces of cauliflower rice. This will be easy. Oops, you zero that out. It actually was under 5 ounces when it sat there for a second, so. Perfect. Wasn't a whole lot of cauliflower. And then I need a whole cup of diced celery. And that is going to weigh 3.5 ounces. I haven't washed this yet, so let me pull off a few stalks and wash this, and then we'll dice it up. I'm not going to worry about cutting it too small because, again, this is going to cook down in the soup. I'm probably going to need more than this. Let's see. Again, celery. 3.5 ounces. Let's see how we're doing. Oh man, that's 3 ounces. Here's a skinny one right here. I'm even going to leave a little bit of leaves because celery leaves taste good. There we go, 3.5 ounces. That's good to go. So as soon as my chicken finishes cooking, I can add in the vegetables. I'm going to add in a little bit of salt, and then I will let you know how long to cook that before the next step. So my Instant Pot is done. I did quick release, so as soon as it stopped, I let out the pressure. You can smell my kitchen right now. Oh, I love the smell of chicken soup. So I'm just going to take the chicken thighs out. These are just going to sit here and cool. I'm going to take the vegetables that we cut up. Make sure I don't have anything else in here. I'm going to dump the veggies in. I'm going to add a teaspoon of kosher salt. Kosher salt is less salty than table salt. So you know you're putting in less salt. The recipe's calling just for general salt, and it says a teaspoon. A teaspoon of kosher salt is probably about like 3/4 of a teaspoon of regular salt. You don't need a whole lot. Oops, that's hot. All right, so I'm going to let this go for 2 minutes under pressure. It shouldn't take that long for it to get back up to pressure since it's already hot. Seal it. Two minutes, and then I will be right back. Two things before I show you how to finish off this soup. First of all, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Just hit that subscribe button there. That just lets me know that you are enjoying the content and that you want to see more great recipe videos, things related to Optavia or weight loss. And I would be happy to share that. Just makes me feel great to know that I've got some subscribers out there. Secondly, if you have not already seen my genius apron hack, let me just show you this. I've shown it before one time. This is simply a kitchen towel held on to me by a pair of suspenders with clips that are stretchy. It's comfortable, and every time I get it dirty, I just pull off the towel, put on a fresh towel, and it's so much easier to clean towels than it is to clean an apron that gets all twisted in the dryer, and yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, so I have 2 minutes on my vegetable soup. While we were having our little break, I took most of the little fat globs off of the cooked chicken thighs, and I cut them up into bite-sized pieces. So that's gonna go back into the pot. And then I have 1 cup, which is 5 1/4 ounces of cherry tomatoes cut in half, and 1/4 cup of freeze-dried basil, or if you have fresh basil, you can use a whole cup of basil leaves, but I just am using the freeze-dried basil because I happen to like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave this on low, or you can put it on a slow cook setting depending on what your Instant Pot has on it. I'm just gonna let it sit on low for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. And then I am going to cool it off and put it away because I made this ahead of time so that my husband would have a couple of meals while I am out of town. So, but I probably will have a bowl of this tomorrow night, we'll see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the minestrone recipe. If you would like to, please leave me comments in the box below. Hit the thumbs up button, let me know you enjoyed this video. And until I see you again, keep living in the light.